What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you guys with another edition of What's the Word, Dirty Bird. We do this every Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. We got a lot to talk about today. We are on the bye week. So, in today's show, I kind of want to open up the chat and let you guys join the show if you guys want to give your input on the first 11 games of the season, how you feeling about the first 11 games of the season, and how you feel about moving forward. As you guys know, we did lose on Sunday by a score of 38-6 in Denver to the Denver Broncos. I called it the Mile High Massacre because they pretty much destroyed us on Sunday. And I kind of want to get you guys posts on how you're feeling so far about this Atlanta Falcons team, how you feeling about the last 6 games of the season. Are you opportunistic? Are you pessimistic? How are you currently feeling about this Atlanta Falcons organization? How are you feeling about this team currently? Personally, I'm encouraged about this team. I'm kind of the glass half full type of guy. I'm never the glass half empty type of guy. I do believe that you always can turn things around if you adjust, if you change the way that you do things. And I really feel like this Atlanta Falcons team is not a lack of talent. I really feel like this last Sunday's game against the Denver Broncos, we were severely outcoached. Yes, we did have a lot of guys injured, especially on the defensive side of the ball. You were without Troy Anderson. You were without your number 2 and number 3 corner, and Mike Hughes, who's played really well at the number 2 corner all year long. And you were also down your nickel corner in D. Alford. But still, with that being said, you being out without Ruka Rororo and some of those guys on the defensive line and things of that nature, the injuries that the Atlanta Falcons have, I still believe that Denver is not that many points better than the Atlanta Falcons. They're not 31 points or whatever that is better than the Atlanta Falcons. 34 points, I believe it is. They're not that much better than us. To be honest, I still believe this Atlanta Falcons team is more talented than the Denver Broncos. We're a lot more talented, especially on the offensive side of the ball, than a lot of teams in the league. If you look at our skill position players that we have on this team, I think that this is a top 5 uh, offense in the NFL as far as talent alone. So I really feel like on Sunday we were severely outcoached in all 3 phases of the game. I did listen to Raheem Morris's press conference after the game, and then I did listen this morning to Raheem Morris' press conference yesterday that he does on every Monday morning after he's watched the film and things of the game. And I heard what Raheem Morris said, and some of the things I like that he said. The only thing that I didn't like that he said is he didn't say that they were severely outcoached. When he was asked the question by one of the reporters, when they basically asked or stated that they thought the team was underprepared or they looked underprepared, he said that he didn't believe that the team was underprepared, that we just were out physical, out hustled, and out effort. And I do believe that this team gave effort on Sunday. I can agree that we were out efforted and out toughed, and the Denver Broncos were more physical. But majority of that game, just me watching as the casual fan and watching as a person that's been watching football for a really long time and understands schematics of the game, I really feel like the biggest thing that I noticed in Sunday's game was we were severely out coached and out schemed. And that's something that I don't like. You guys know that I'm really, really critical of coaching when it comes down to putting players in positions to succeed, not putting players in bad positions. And I really feel like this Denver game reared its ugly head and showed that right now, especially in that game against Denver, they didn't put these players in positions to succeed. So when I feel like the players are being put in a awkward situation, in a bad situation where they're not put in positions to win, at that point I gotta overlook a little bit of the effort. I gotta overlook because at this point it's like you're putting them in a lose-lose situation. So that was one of the biggest things that I noticed in this last game against Denver. Is just it was um a bad game plan all the way around. It was a bad game plan On the defensive side of the ball, the offensive side of the ball, I didn't like that Zach Robinson got away from the run really, really early in the game after we had success in that first drive with Bijan Robinson running the ball at will. I didn't like in the special teams that they got that big return. I don't remember if it was a punt return or kickoff return. It was just a lot of things that I saw in the game, and I didn't like it. I didn't like that I didn't see any adjustments. I thought at halftime we would see some adjustments because I do believe in this game because we were down so many players in the secondary. You've seen at times there were busted coverages and things of that nature. And you've seen Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons trying to talk to the linebackers and talk to the corners. And I do think that had an effect on the game where you had guys like Natron Brooks playing for the first time at that cornerback position. You had different guys who were mixing and matching. You had Clark Phillips out there for the first time, like in that starting role. Of course, AJ Terrell, Justin Simmons, and Jesse Bates, those guys have been out there all season long. But I do think that had an effect on this game. But with that being said, I want to jump into the chat really quick and say what's up to you guys. And then I'll give you guys a couple more thoughts that I have. And then I'm going to open it up and drop the link so you guys can join the show if you guys want to join the show and kind of give me your thoughts on this Falcons team and where you think the Falcons will go from here. Before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and just say what's up to you guys. So what's up to Tony Hall? Good morning. You were the first one in the chat that I seen. Good morning. I appreciate you joining me. Cortez Sherman, what's going on, man? He says, good morning, Jew. And I'll hit some of y'all comments as well, but I just want to say what's up to everybody in here. What's going on to Dre Murphy? Good morning. I appreciate you joining me as always. And Bobby Boy Zone 3. What's going on, man? I appreciate you. Big Ant in the building. Y'all definitely go over to AFN and hit that like and subscribe button. What's going on, bro? I appreciate you joining me. Jonte Rozier says, good morning, Jew. What's going on, man? I appreciate you joining me on this Tuesday morning. Auntie Pam, good morning. Let's see here. And Miss Pam says it's time to get the players healthy. So she says the bye came at the right time. We do have a lot of players out with injury this time to get players healthy and a chance to review film. I completely agree. Yeah, this is time to hit the reset button. We got six games to go. So this is going to be very interesting. And I agree completely. Tony Hall says, I'm going to say this, Jew. I'm going to don the red and black until the day God calls me home. But we got to stop being everyone to get right game by the opponents playing our team. Yeah, I completely agree. We definitely allowed the Broncos to get right. And Cortez Sherman says, I like to see Jerry Gray at DC, but I won't hold my breath. Yeah, I don't think that that's going to happen. But right now, I really feel like this is Raheem Morris's defense. As much as everybody's saying that it's Jimmy Lake's defense, it's not Jimmy Lake's defense. If you guys go to YouTube and type in Jimmy Lake's defensive scheme at Washington, the University of Washington, when he was their head coach, or just type in Jimmy Lake's defensive schemes, you can actually go on YouTube and you can see, or go on the internet, you can see clips of the style of defense that Jimmy Lakes runs. So this is not Jimmy Lake's defense. This is Raheem Morris, and he's basically right now Jimmy Lake is overseeing Raheem Morris's defense. So he just has a title, but he's not the defensive coordinator. He's making the calls. He has the title, but he's not, and he's making the calling the plays during the game, but he's using Raheem Morris's playbook. So you might as well say Raheem Morris is the de facto or he's the actual defensive coordinator of this team. And by default, Jimmy Lake is just calling his defense. And engine number 9 says, what's up, Jew Talk Sports? What's up, man? I appreciate you joining me as well. And William Amy says, we have to switch up this scheme. Man, we don't prepare on all 3 phases. Yeah, we look bad. We got out-coached. That was what I wanted to hear Raheem Morris say. I don't know why he didn't say we were out-coached. And I understand not wanting to say we were underprepared, because underprepared and out-coached are 2 different things. I don't think that they were underprepared. I think they prepare week in and week out. I think they watch film. I think that they do the things that they need to do throughout the week. But what they don't do, or what they haven't done, is they haven't adjusted. During a game, you have to make mid-game adjustments. You can come out with a game plan at the beginning of the game, but once you see what the other team is doing, you have to adjust to what may remedy what the other team is doing. Because just because you come up with a game plan on Monday, Monday through Saturday, once Sunday comes, the game plan that you have, you might have to scrap that game plan mid-game, because if whatever you're doing is not working, that means that the game plan that you had, or what you thought the opposing team was going to do, if they flip the script and do something totally different, you're going to have to change up what you're doing. You can't just say, well, this is what we plan to do, and this is what we thought they were going to do. So now we're going to continue this to do what we're doing, even though they're doing something totally different than what we thought they were going to do. And what we're doing is not working. We just going to do what we do and hope that it works. That's the problem with this team so far. We have to make the in-game adjustments and the necessary adjustments in-game, meaning whether that's on the sideline, whether that's at halftime. Once we see what the other team has done, or that what they are doing, you have to learn how to adjust on the fly. That's what good coaches do. Good coaches understand that. Competent coaches understand you can't continue to do the same thing and expect a different result. Miss Sonia in the building says, I believe we can still have a winning season. Raheem needs to change his philosophy on defense and stop coaching scared when it comes to the entire team. I completely agree. We have to start playing like we have nothing to lose, because the Falcons have nothing to lose. Nobody picked the Falcons to go to the Super Bowl. Nobody picked this Falcons team to make a deep playoff run. So right now, the Atlanta Falcons are playing with house money. So you have no reason to be scared. The only team that has a right to walk around scared is teams that have big expectations. And even those teams, I don't expect them to be scared. But the teams that have those big, lofty expectations, like the Chiefs, the teams that consistently win, the 49ers, the Eagles, the teams that were projected to be, in New Orleans at the end of the year, those are the teams that should be concerned about what everybody else is thinking, or concerned about, being afraid. The Falcons have nothing to be afraid of. And to be honest, usually those teams that have those lofty expectations are not afraid of the moment. Andy Reid is not walking around scared. The Philadelphia Eagles coach, he's not walking around scared. These teams that are used to winning, the Detroit Lions coach, Dan Campbell, he's not scared. He's not walking around scared. He's not playing it safe. Most of the time, especially last year, he was rolling the dice and gambling at the wrong times. He was rolling the dice in the NFC Championship game last year. But one thing I can say is he fell on his own sword. I didn't like what Dan Campbell did in that 49ers and Lions game in the NFC Championship, rolling the dice and not taking field goals and things of that nature. But one thing I can say is he wasn't scared. He went all in. He pushed all of his chips in the middle of the table. Now he didn't win, but scared money don't make money. So at the end of the day, you gotta have some type of philosophy. You have to have, as they say, you have to have big cojones at sometimes, and you gotta, make those type of decisions. Bernard, what's going on, man? I appreciate you joining me. He says, "What's up, Jew?" Let's see. Strapped Up 24 says, "What's good, Jew? I hope you and the family are doing well. I really think we should have got a pass rusher. Raheem needs to take over play calling." No, I don't think so. Raheem Morris is calling the plays in the background. This is his playbook with Jimmy Lake calling his plays. So technically, you're right, Strapped Up 24. He really shouldn't even put Jimmy Lake in this coaching staff and say that he's the defensive coordinator. He should have made Jimmy Lake a positions coach, and he should have called his own plays like he did in LA, so that Jimmy Lake is not taking the brunt of all of this criticism. Because I don't believe that this is Raheem. I don't believe that this is Jimmy Lake calling the plays. He's calling the plays, but he's using Raheem's playbook. So at the end of the day, it's Raheem's defense. William Amy says we gonna have to win at least 5 games to win the division. I think we can definitely do it. I think we can do it. Another game against the Carolina Panthers. We can't count our eggs before they hatch, but that should be a win at home. Every game on this down the stretch, the Falcons have a chance to win. So I'm not afraid of, can this team make the playoffs? But we're gonna talk about that since you mentioned it. But I think I said what's up to everybody. Not yet. So what's up to my boy Mad Mike? I appreciate you joining me as well. And for those who haven't heard, as I mentioned in the beginning of the show, I'm going to open up the phone lines or the chat. I'm gonna open it up where you guys can join me. I'm gonna drop the link in a few because I want you guys to come in here, give me your thoughts on these last 6 games. Do you think that this Falcons team is going to make the playoffs? Do you think that this team is going to lose out, and that the wheels are going to come off? Tell me what you feel about this Atlanta Falcons team. Are we going to blow it and not get to the playoffs and allow New Orleans or the Buccaneers, one of these teams in the South that are gaining ground, are we going to fold and allow these guys to take over? First, I personally, where I stand is I think this Falcons team is going to turn it around, and I think that they're going to get into the playoffs, and I think that they have a chance to make a run in the playoffs. But we're going to have to make the proper adjustments for that to actually happen. So I'm not naive to the fact that we have big shoes to fill, but I really feel like the Falcons have put themselves in a position at 4-1 in the division. Even if we lose to Carolina, we're 4-2 in the division. It's still going to be tough for these teams to catch us because we swept the Bucks, who right now are the team right behind us. New Orleans, we split with them, so that means that they're going to have a better record than us at the end of the season for them to win the division. The same thing with the Buccaneers. We swept the Buccaneers, so the only way the Buccaneers win this division is somehow, some way, they end off with a better record in the win column than the Atlanta Falcons over these last 6 to 7 games of the season. So personally, we're in the driver's seat, but we have to handle our business to finish things off, finish this year, the right way. But I do feel like this Falcons team is currently at a crossroads. I remember those last 3 years with Arthur Smith, where the Falcons, every game, it was like we were right there in playoff contention. Every season came down to a crossroads where the Falcons team could either sputter and go in a downward spiral, or we could peak and win the rest of the games and make the playoffs. In Arthur Smith's case, every time we were like number one in the division in the NFC South, all of those seasons sputtered down the stretch. We were not mentally tough. Arthur Smith was not mentally tough. He made some bad decisions with the quarterback position, and we seen it play out. Those teams down the stretch, we fell apart. The wheels came off. So that's what I'm want to see out of this team is, are we mentally tough enough to handle success, take the bull by the horns and say, we're not going to let this season end like this. We started fast. Let's finish even stronger and finish fast. Right now, we're outrunning the South, as they keep saying, let's outrun the South. Let's outrun the South. But we still got a lot of work to do. It's not over. So really, it's going to come down to these players. It's going to come down to these coaches in this bye week making the proper adjustments. If we don't do those things, this team can easily miss the playoffs if we're not careful, and if we don't take these games seriously. Every single game is its own entity, but we got to start taking these games serious, and we have to start making the proper adjustments as the coaching staff. And this is everybody, not just Raheem Morris, but Zach Robinson, Coach Marquise Williams. Those guys got to get these guys prepared to play, and we have to realize what the identity of this team is. I keep saying it over and over again. This team is a running football team. It's running the ball, being balanced. Run the ball, open up the pass, protect Kirk Cousins. On defense, be opportunistic, get turnovers when the turnovers are presented to you, get timely stops. That's what this team is currently. Just off of the 11 games that I've watched, this team is not a lockdown defense. They're not going to be a defense that's going to finish top 10. I'm just sorry. I just got to admit it. Right now, this team right now, as of yesterday, with that loss to Denver, we went from the 20th ranked overall defense to the 25th overall ranked defense overall. So this isn't your typical lockdown type defense. This is a bend, don't break, and get opportunistic stops. It goes back to what I've been saying over the last couple weeks. This is the 2016 Falcons, very similar to the 2016 team where we weren't ranked as a top defense. We were just good at getting turnovers at the right time, good at making stops when we needed to get it. Now, the 2016 team did have the league leader in sacks. So that's one thing that the 2016 team could actually hang their hat on, was that Vic Beasley actually was, we were actually getting after the passer in that season. But that was due to us being able to jump out to large leads. But with that being said, like I said, I want to get you guys' thoughts, man, on where this Falcons team sits. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. You guys can come in here and tell me what your thoughts are. If you don't want to jump on with me and tell us, you can put it in the chat and I'll bring it up here. Tell me what where your post is from 1 to 10. How confident are you in this team? 1 being the worst, 10 being you're super confident. If 5 is I'm on the fence, I don't know. Tell me where you stand right now. I'll say for me, I'm at a 7. I'm at a 7 right now out of 10. So I think that this team has the chance to win the division based off of the games that we've won. Right now, we've dominated division play. So what it's going to come down to is us winning these last couple of these 6 games. The games you have to win. That game in Carolina is a must win. You got to win that game because that's going to give you that win in the division. So it's almost like it's worth 1.5 wins. So you got to get that game at home against Carolina. But we have, I believe, let's see, I can pull up the schedule really quick here. I'm pull up the schedule really quick. But I know we got the Chargers coming out of the bye, and that's not going to be no walk in the park because that's Jim Harbaugh, and we know what Jim Harbaugh represents. But you got the Chargers, that's no walk in the park. You got at Minnesota against Kirk Cousins' old team, that's no walk in the park. You got the Raiders on Monday Night Football, that's in Las Vegas. That's no walk in the park because of Max Crosby, but that should be a game that the Falcons should win. You got at home against the Giants. That's a must-win game. The Giants, you should be able to win that game at home. Then the next week, you at Washington, the Commanders. That's no walk in the park with Dan Quinn and the way that defense, the way that Jaden Daniels is playing, that's no walk in the park either. And then you got Carolina at home. So those last 6 games, the only ones that I see that should be games where it's like, okay, we're super confident that the Falcons should definitely win. You're the odds-on favorite. Is at home against the Giants, at home against the Panthers, and the Raiders. At the Raiders. Those 3 games are the games that the Falcons should be the odds-on favorites. But all of the rest of those games, the Chargers, that's no walk in the park. The Vikings, at the Vikings, that's one of those games that's going to be a battle. And at Washington, those games are not going to, out of those 6 games, 3 out of those 6 games are going to be, those are tough opponents. They're winning records. The Vikings are 8-2. The Chargers are 7-3. The Commanders are 7-4. Now the other games, the Raiders are 2-8. The Giants are 2-8, and the Panthers are 3-7. So that's the reason I say that those games are the must-win games because you're the odds-on favorite. The other games, yes, you can probably split those. You can afford to drop a game against the Chargers. You can afford to drop a game against the Vikings. You can possibly afford to drop a game against the Commanders if you win the other 3 games that I mentioned, because those 3 games will get us to about 9 wins, which should be good enough to win the division. But I want this Falcons team to take on the mindset that every week is a must-win game. We got to get to that point because when you get to the playoffs, there's going to be no 2-8 teams waiting for you in the playoffs. There's going to be no 3-7 teams waiting for you. You're going to have to play the cream of the crop. So with that being said, let me jump up here. And I see some numbers in the chat already, so I appreciate you guys. Corey Gear 5 said he had a 7. I appreciate it. Workflow Dre says he's at a 7. Big Ant says he had a 7. Cortez Sherman says he's a 6 or a 7. So we all feeling pretty optimistic. Let me see here. Okay, so we feeling pretty optimistic, optimistic about this. We feeling optimistic about this team. Now, if you below a 5, you think we're a 3, you're a 3, a 2, or 1, I will understand as well, because this team right now, we're not peaking, and I don't like that. I've seen us going in a downward, trend, and that's not a good thing. So right now, we're hitting the reset button, and we got a chance to change it. Strapped up says I'm at a 6, so he right close to on the fence. So we lose to the Chargers. It sounds like he might go. We going under. So this gonna be an important game coming out of the bye against the LA Chargers. But I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link really quick. And all I ask before you guys come in here, all I ask is that, of course, you be respectful when you come in here. This channel is monetized, and I would like to keep it that way. So if you come in here, keep the profanity to a minimum. Of course, I consider my channel a family channel where children can watch this channel. So I ask that you keep it to a bare minimum with the profanity, and I ask that you keep it brief, but give me your thoughts on the team. Share what your thoughts are about the team. And as I say, everybody's welcome to come into the chat. I'm not going to block you unless you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. Then at that point, I will kick you out. If you come in here talking crazy, being disrespectful to anybody in the chat, or using a whole lot of profanity, anything that's going to put the channel at risk, I'm gonna have to take you off. But that's my ground rules. If you come in here and you want to give me your thoughts, just be respectful. Everybody in the chat, be respectful to the channel, and remember that it's other people that are watching that may be younger than you. It might be some minors or something like that's watching. So I try to be a good example for the youth and things of that nature. But if you want to come in here, the link, I just dropped the link. So come in here and tell me your thoughts about this Atlanta Falcons team. Where do you think the Falcons go from here? Because that's the topic of the day. Are the Falcons going to sputter? Are the Falcons going to peak? And give me your reasons why. If you think that this team is going to, bottom out and the wheels going to come off, let me know why you think that. And Carlos says he's at a 6.5. I feel you on that. I can feel you on that. Let's see here. And Carlos says after this bye week, we need to start getting hot, especially going into the playoffs. That's why I stand with it as well. We have to be prepared. Coming out of that bye is going to be huge to really start off with a win. It's no excuse, because that game against the Chargers is at home. So that means that the Chargers are coming from the West Coast to the East Coast for a 1:00 game. So you should have the advantage when it comes to you playing at home, you sleeping in your bed, you getting a nice meal, and they're coming on a long flight from the West Coast to the East Coast. Now, as I mentioned, the Chargers are no walk in the park. These boys are 7-3, could be 8-3 if they play next week when they come to Atlanta. Let's see here. And you guys, like I said, it's in the link is in the chat if you want to come in here and join me. And anybody's welcome to join me. Even if you're a content creator, if you want to come in here, Mad Mike, you're welcome to join me in the if you can join as well, if you want to join me. Let's see here. And I'm gonna scroll up a little bit because I missed a lot of y'all comments as well. Let's see here. Let's see. Dre Murphy says they're usually good at making halftime adjustments, but not this time around, though. Dang. Yeah, I mean, sometimes they do, but to me, I just haven't seen enough. I haven't seen enough changes, especially in this last game. This last game was just like we just let it happen. Bo Nix was like 28 of 33, 307 yards passing. Bo Nix is not that good. Like, he might be a solid rookie. He may turn out to be a really good quarterback, but he's not 28 of 33 good. 307 yards passing and like 4 touchdowns. He's not that good. That's called poor adjustments, poor game planning. When you have somebody just throwing the ball in the flats and his guys running for 30, 40 yards on tunnel screens and stuff like that, majority of his plays in this last game were throwing the ball short and his guys running after the catch. So it wasn't a lot of he hit you over the top for a 60-yard bomb. They hit a post route for 45 yards. A lot of this was I threw it in the flat and Williams ran for, I seen Mims, they do a bubble screen and would go like 20 yards, 25 yards for a touchdown. I seen a busted coverage where a guy runs the over route. They throw it to him. Little Jordan Humphreys. They you know, throw a over route. He's wide open. Nobody's in the area. That's game planning. That's not uh, on the players. A lot of times we want to put a lot of stuff on the players, and I would put it on the players if I seen that we tried to adjust and guys are just messing up. In this last game, I seen no aggression whatsoever. It seemed like we just let it happen. I didn't see no blitzes hardly. I seen Landman in the middle of the field all day long trying to cover, which we know is not his strength. I seen Caden Ellis in the middle of the field all day long trying to cover. I seen us dropping guys in coverage like Lorenzo Carter standing in the middle of the field. I seen one play we tried to drop Judon in the middle of the field. Good news is they called timeout, but I was very frustrated with watching these pass rushers and guys that are not good in coverage being dropped in coverage. I didn't see no aggression. I seen a lot of missed tackles, seen a lot of stuff that's fundamental, just fundamentally not sound. But a lot of it was too much open space where guys are catching the ball with 300 pounders barreling down the field, and you're expecting guys like AJ Terrell to rally up and tackle when you got three offensive linemen running full head of steam at these guys, and the running backs or the wide receivers having a full, coming at you with a full, you know, coming downhill. You can't allow that with momentum. You can't allow these guys to get going. Mad Mike says Raheem Morris is a liar until he makes the necessary adjustments. He's not doing what he's told the fans he would do. However, it's a lot of football left. It's far from over, but I'm watching him closely. And that's why I sit with it. That's exactly why I sit with it. And William Amy says now we are the 4th seed wild card game. Yeah. At the end of the day, we still will win the division, but I agree. And he's in the back right now. So give me 1 second. What's going on?
Yo, what's going on Utah Sports, man? That game was frustrating, man. It's a lot going on. Raheem Morris, he not telling us in the press conference, like Mad Mike saying. And I heard this man had one day walk through practice last week, so he didn't even prepare his team like took them run serious. Then they flew on I believe they flew on a Friday night well, I think they only flew. I think that Friday evening, and they probably ain't got it till like that Saturday night. So that tells you right there. This team wasn't even ready to prepare, and that's on coaching. That's on Raheem Morris. But overall, man, I feel like we should have got Murphy the third. We should have got some defensive tackles because I knew Grady Jarrett couldn't do it by himself. I feel like if they would have added more depth first round. Like we got Murphy the third out of Texas, and guys a corner second round. Like just build pieces on defense that you need because injuries happen. I feel like we should have did that. Like we should have got Lattimore out of Georgia, whatever name. I feel like we would have did that, man. We would have been straight. But nah, man, I hate to say it, man. If we lose to the Chargers and the Vikings, you might well say the season over with because I feel like the players need to tell Raheem Morris, hey, I understand that you want to run a 3-4, but this scheme is not working. We need to go ahead and switch it up and try to let Jimmy, not Jimmy late, but let what's called Gray put some
Very
adjustments.
great.
Yeah, put Jerry Gray and let him put some adjustment what he see on the field. And Zach Robinson need to be on the field with his players and communicate with them because I don't really like him in the press conference. Like I understand he telling Kirk Cousins, I feel like Kirk Cousins is a veteran. He's a 13-year. You need to tell him, hey, we need to run the ball and we need to put a Cardale Hodge in or something like that. Just tell the coach what you like to do. Like I'm gonna run the ball first and we're gonna do the play action. That's what I do. I like to be balanced. And I just don't like what Zach Robinson doing. He start running the ball and just pass happy. We're not a pass air A team. We a run first team, play action. So I just need Zach Robinson and really Kirk Cousins tell Zach Robinson, hey, I'm more a run first and play action quarterback. Tell that to Zach Robinson. Zach Robinson, he need to be on the field with his players. And I just feel like Raheem Morris, he need to just tell the talk to have a group meeting and tell how the players really feel. And that's for the veterans. They need to speak up for themselves and just tell, hey, I understand you want to run this scheme, but we don't have the right personnel. We don't have the true nose tackle to eat up space, and we don't have the right proper linebackers to cover.
I completely agree with mostly everything you said, William. I agree with you. Like, I really feel like the problem with the offense with Zach Robinson, his issue is he don't understand timing and rhythm of the game. Like, he started off running the ball, everything was going good. Then the second drive, you pass on first down, you don't get no yardage. You pass on second down, you don't get no yardage. Now it's 3rd and 10. Now you have to pass. So it's like, no, you run. If you throw on first, you don't get no yards. You need to run it on second down to get you ahead of the chains, or at least to get some of that yardage back. It's like sometimes he'll shoot himself in the foot because he'll pass, and then now it's 3rd and long. Now you have to pass. It's like it's better off to, if you're gonna run it, if you're not gonna run it on first down and you don't get no positive yardage on first down, then you need to at least run the ball on second down to get some of that yardage back to make it a 3rd and medium, a 3rd and short. But if
Yeah,
you you don't get nothing, incomplete or sack. And then some of it was just misfortunes. Like one play, Kirk Cousins dropped the ball. So it's like, dang, we were actually
yeah,
making headway, and then he dropped
sloppy.
it on second down. He fumbled, I think it
Yeah,
was.
and he
So
had
it's like,
Drake London. I ain't even touch on Drake London off the getting off the line of scrimmage when I even the play even got like even the play started. He was already off the line of scrimmage, but I hold us back. Now we 30-15, 30-18. It's gonna be on long games. That's why I say that. If we come in Denver start flat, the game was gonna be over. So I knew when we started coming out flat, I had to change it, man. I got disgusted. I'm like, we ain't about to win this game. Ain't no way we win. They after two in Denver, Colorado, different loud fan base, it's no way in the world. They was already first going to do that. They lost to Patrick Mahomes and they almost beat them. They
right,
just didn't execute on special teams. So what I'm saying for Raheem Morris, you've been in the league too long, and that made me say when Mike saying is like that the Los Angeles Rams, that's Wade Phillips defensive scheme. That wasn't Raheem Morris scheme.
right,
So I figured that out. I seen that. I'm like, yeah, Matt Mike is really right because Wade Phillips had the players. He just drafted Aaron Donald them and Jalen Ramsey and them. He got a big body because Jalen Ramsey could cover half of the field without no safety talk or nothing. Just him himself. So that speaks volumes. And I think we just don't have the right, like I said, we don't have the right personnel or anything like that. But I would tell you this though, but I feel like Kirk Cousins needs to speak up for his son because I don't think Kirk Cousins gonna be with her next year. We make a postseason. I'm just saying.
you said we don't make it. You don't think he's gonna be here next year?
No, no, I don't really. The reason why I say that because Kirk, you already know the drama we drafted Michael Pittman because everybody thought we was gonna get an edge rusher or defensive tackle, but we skipped up on the defensive tackle. So Kirk Cousins was kind of upset that we drafted a quarterback. He really thought that Raheem Morris really wanted him to be Kirk Cousins said in the press conference he wanted to be a Falcons forever. He want to retire. I get that, but Kirk Cousins not gonna waste his another season without having a good defense. You got to have a defense to help him out. But when he was
Yeah,
with the Vikings, he had a good defense. It just when he got to the playoffs, he never, took them to the next level. So what I'm
yeah,
saying is, I feel like we should have just never did that. We should have just. I understand we could have got Michael Penix early round. I feel like we should have just got young, get us a quarterback, get you some defensive player. But that's Raheem thing. But I just feel like Raheem should have got experience on the coaching staff, and Terry Fontenot should have told him that, and that's Terry Fontenot's fault too, because he didn't did nothing to trade deadline, and he didn't say, hey, I need you to get somebody who would experience first. I understand you want to get Zach Robinson and you want to get somebody from college, but I feel like they should have took the time and got Will Levis or somebody else, man. They should have just got somebody who got experience. Or the dude who was the defense coordinator for the 49. What's his name was? Steve Wilkes. You should have got him or something like that.
yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I don't think that. I really don't even think that the problem is his coaching staff necessarily. I think the problem is, and Mike talked about this during the post game show, and Kev, is the issue is, um, do the guys he have on his staff, do they have autonomy to speak freely, or is it I don't want to get fired. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
only
think
going to say so much. I'm going to go along with what you're running because I keep telling everybody, and Mike has said this numerous times, and they've actually showed clips. Don put a clip on Facebook, and it showed images of the Washington Huskies defense when Jimmy Lake was coaching them. He's mainly a man and pressure type of defensive coordinator. So I don't really feel like the issue necessarily is the coaching staff. Like even if Jerry Gray takes over, I don't think that's going to help either because is he going to get to run his plays or is he going to have to run Raheem's playbook? That's what's really going to come down to. At the end
mhm,
of the day, it doesn't matter who's calling the plays. It matters of are they going to adjust because it's not really the play caller. I think right now it's the plays that we're running in the scheme that we're running. Don't matter who calls it. That's what I say. Even if Raheem say I'm gonna take over, if he gonna call the plays the same way they calling the plays now, guys gonna be 6 and 8 yards off the ball. Don't matter if Jimmy Lake is calling it. Don't matter if Jerry Gray's calling it. That's the biggest issue. But with that being said, hold on one second. I'm gonna bring Matt Mike into the conversation as well.
okay.
What's going on, Mike?
What's going on? Will, what's up, dude? What's good?
What's going on, man?
Yeah,
Man,
man. Hey, tell the chat, man. They all are welcome here, Mike. Tell them don't be scared to join in, and they want to
Hey, come on, y'all. Like, good gracious alive. Look, y'all ain't doing much of anything anyway. All right,
just
come
come
on,
on and
come
talk to
on,
us,
come
man.
on, have a conversation, man. Sit down with us.
We get tired of talking. So I'll be like,
yeah,
sometimes I
Like,
can
right?
look,
yeah.
I
Shoot
know
your
that I
way,
know
Mike,
football,
man.
but
Cause
sometimes guess what? I want to hear. I'm not always the smartest person in the room. I want to hear their thoughts because some people think that I'm like oblivious to. I'm the glass half full, Mike. I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
ship is burning to the ground until we done lost 6 in a row. Then I'm like, all right, get rid of them.
Hmm.
But I'm gonna give you a chance. Right now, we're at that crossroads where we have a chance. So I know some people are at work, but the ones that ain't at work, if you want to talk,
Come
come on
on
here and
in,
talk to us.
come in, y'all.
Just
Come
give us
on.
your opinion. We're not gonna fuss you out because you got a different opinion. If your opinion is this team suck, that's what I want to hear. But don't just come in here and say they suck. Tell me why you think they suck. And
Why? As to why,
yeah,
right? That's the thing. It's like
Mike, go ahead and
that's
tell me,
what we
man, what's
want to
your
hear.
thoughts, man, on this team, and give me your kind of where you at on the meter, the 10, the 0 to 10 meter. Where you sitting at this team? Your confidence level us making the playoffs.
I mean, I think we're at a 10 to make the playoffs. I really think we're at a 10 to make the playoffs. The playoffs is not my concern. I don't know how to make that any more clear than what I've already done. I believe we are a playoff team. I believe that we are still at this point. We have the capability to even make a when we're healthy, and this is where I started from the beginning of the season, and this is where I am now. I said, given the Falcons, if they can stay healthy defensively, this team can make a run into the Super Bowl. They quite possibly win it because you have a quarterback like Kirk Cousins and the weapons. All right, the weapons with the Atlanta Falcons. Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, those guys in themselves are enough along with the offensive line. They're alone. That's enough right there. Most teams don't have a Kyle Pitts, a Drake London, a Bijan Robinson, and a Tyler Algier on one offense. And I've yet to bring up Darnell Mooney, who's been one of the better wide receivers and weapons in all of the NFL. So it's like when you look at what the Falcons have, they still have the capability of making a long run and beating anyone. So my confidence in this team has not wavered. However, my confidence in that liar, and I just got to say it, he's lying. He's lying. He said that he would be aggressive. Jude, have you seen any aggressiveness out of this defense?
Not at all. That's my
That's
biggest concern. Not at
that's
all.
it. When I hear this man, he literally stated in the press conference when someone asked him, Mark Zeno, I don't know if it was Mark Zeno, I think it was Daniel Flick, but Daniel Flick asked him why they were playing so much off coverage. He said because they were running screens. And Jude, to your point earlier, when you said it's like you shouldn't allow people to change your game plan. You should go in regardless of what the circumstances are, what the personnel is. You need to call your game. You don't allow somebody because they're running certain things you know, to stop doing certain things. And that's my frustration. You're acting, this is exactly how Dan Quinn. He played down to the competition. He allowed the competition to deviate, to kind of dictate what he was going to do defensively. When you look at some of the great coaches like we just saw and Sean Payton, and only a fool would deny that Sean Payton is an absolute offensive genius. He's an offensive genius. So when you allow these guys to dictate how you run your defense, that shows me that you're not confident in your ability to coach and you're not confident in your team because that's what it comes down to. It. He's not confident. He can do all this rah rah speech, no pun intended, but all this rah rah speech in the post game shows and pregame. Look, I don't care nothing about that. I need to see that aggression when we're on that court because that's when it matters. When you're on that court, you're on that baseball field, you're on that football team. I need to see it, and we're not seeing it.
He don't show
I
no
I
passion
agree
like
completely
Mike
with
do.
what you said. 1 second, William. I want to get Big Ant and Jerry. So what's going on, fellas? And give me your thoughts, man, on this team. Like where you stand. I think you put in the chat a 7, but like how you feeling about this team, man? Like moving forward down the stretch, the next 6 games. What do you think we need to do, or just what's your personal feeling? Just give me your thoughts.
Well, for one, I think on offense we need to be more. Um, we need to, get the run game more involved in the game plan, especially early,
Facts.
because we're allowing, it's like you just said earlier, Drew. Like on one drive, that second drive, we threw the ball 3 times and incomplete on all 3 of them. That first drive, even though it amounted to just a field goal, it got us down the field.
Mm-hmm.
Go back that second drive and do it again. You
Exactly.
force them to stop your run game. You don't stop your run game. You
Exactly.
force Denver's defense to that pissed me off so much. Like because only 14 we only had 14 runs that whole game.
Yeah, 35 rushing, I think. Yep.
We can't do that. That's not winning football. I'm sorry. Even like, okay, I'll give you an example. Last night, the Cowboys had 52 passes, and I think like only like 14 or 15 runs. Something I might be off a little bit on that run part, but you can't have that. It's like 85% pass, and you can't do that because you're gonna dig yourself into a hole, and then now your defense. We seen what happened. I mean, now you're forced to play into Denver's hand. And then we've seen this team on numerous occasions make halftime adjustments or in-game adjustments. Yesterday, we seen none of that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I agree. I completely agree with you, Big Ant. And I think one of the issues was when I went back and looked at it, was I seen a lot of confusion in the secondary because we were down Alford, we were down Hughes, Mike Hughes. So I really feel like there was a lot of communication issues.
Yeah.
And Justin Simmons talked about that after the game. And I don't know if you guys seen Justin Simmons after the game, but it looked like he was very emotional. It looked like he had been crying after the game, just looking at his face because he was going back to Denver. You get annihilated at home. You know he was already an emotional game for him going
Mhm.
back to his former team. But then for you to get annihilated the way that we lost the game, and that's my biggest issue. It's not that we lost the game; it's the way that we lost the game.
Yep.
That's how
That
yeah,
How we
matters.
lost
Like
the
people
game.
don't
Yep.
understand
that
that
matters.
matters. And one of the biggest issues, and Mad Mike can attest to this, what my biggest issue with Arthur Smith is you don't want to kill your players' confidence. In games like the Denver game will kill your confidence. Like it might not kill guys like Jesse Bates, guys that's been in the league, but new guys like it was Brandon Doyle's first game. Like you don't want that to be your first experience in the NFL. You get blown out. You know what I'm saying? So some of these guys that are younger players, and even the older players, to be honest, if you're running the same type of scheme, and he said like there was no energy, I feel like we were out hustled. But some of it is like these older players know scheme as well, and once they see that you're not making any adjustments to try to help them on the field, they're going to start kind of like tuning you out. It was similar to what they did with, I really believe, Arthur Smith. They start tuning him out. That's the reason why the Saints blew us out that last game because players will start tuning him out. Like, bruh, he ain't getting it. I'm tuning him out. And I don't want Raheem Morris to get to the point where, as Mike was talking about these rah-rah speeches, these guys are gonna start toning him out. If they see that what he's telling them is not working, they're not gonna listen. They either gonna go rogue and do their own thing, or they just gonna tone him out like whatever. You know what I'm saying? Let's just do our thing. We're not trying to hear what he got to say. So what I really feel like he needs to do as a player's coach that he say that he is, he needs to allow his coaching staff and his players to have their input on what they see fit. And that's kind of what I was telling William before you joined, Big Ant. It's like, I don't really feel like the problem is whoever's calling the plays. I feel like the plays that are being called are not the right plays. The scheme is
That's
not.
what John Abraham stated
That's
too
what
in
we all
his.
been saying. Yep.
John Abraham said that a while back. Well, not a while back, but he said that one of the things that he liked about uh, Mike Smith and the coach before him, I forget, but he was saying that he allowed those guys to run the play that they wanted to run, and I think that's the thing. And I was like, if you're a player's coach, you have to listen to your players. And Christy, I went back when she posted a comment on one of my videos that Raheem in the press conference, he stated that he would listen to the players and take their
input.
your input
Yep.
into heart, like, but he's not doing that. You're saying he's not going to consult the players immediately. That's the first. You should have done that already. This is the first thing that Bijan Robinson said with Zach Robinson. When Zach Robinson was named the offensive coordinator, he said he listens to the players and calls the plays that we want to call. And I think at this point, like what I'm seeing from the coaching staff, they're beginning to believe their own hype. So they're saying to themselves without really, like, they don't realize that this is what they're doing, but it's becoming a power trip. Once you start having success and you're on top of the world, you start to smell yourself. You know how the old heads say, you start to smell yourself a little bit. And that's what's happening right there. They starting to smell themselves. They want to throw the ball when, coming out, throwing the ball 3 straight times, a 3 and out, and then defensively you get a few picks, interceptions, and turnovers and whatnot. And you believe your game plan working until you run into a Sean Payton and you realize, well, dang, I'm not as smart as I thought I was. So that's what it is. So I want to see how he comes out of this because that's right there. That's the true testament of good coaching. The adjustments, and this is what you always talk about. Wait and see. If you keep showing me the same thing, yeah, you're just worried about yourself and trying to, impart your own scheme.
I completely agree. Hey, Jerry, you with us, Jerry?
Hey, Drew, I'm here.
Hey, what's going on, man? I want to get your thoughts too, man. What's your take on this, the next 6 game? What's your take on what you got for the show, man? What's your take on this team?
Well, my frustrations right now is mostly around the defense. I kind of feel like, yeah, we're ahead of everyone in the division, but these final 6 games, the defense is going to have to be better. I mean, it don't matter how good your offense is. When you start playing against some tough competition, a lot of times it's going to come down to, being able to make the stops. And, we've made some key stops throughout the season, but you can't really just expect a turnover every game. Sometimes if the other team takes care of the ball, such as, say, the LA Chargers, they're going to run the ball. They're going to throw it occasionally, but they're going to run the ball. That's what Jim Harbaugh does. Every team have seen the film on this defense. They're going to throw screens. They're going to do all these different things because our secondary is too far off the line of scrimmage. We're going to have to make those necessary adjustments. We can't just go into the next game we play thinking that we can do the same thing, only players get better effort and it's going to be different. Because he kept saying something about effort of the players, but I feel like, they were not put in the best position. You expect DBs to be able to take on screen offensive linemen coming at them full speed. They can't cut them below. It's going to work every time. I mean, then don't break. They're going to get closer to the end zone, and that's where you're supposed to kind of hold down and prevent them from getting in the end zone. But you're bagging everybody up, and that makes it that much easier. Okay, we'll just run the ball, or we'll just throw a screen, or we'll throw a quick out, or something like that, because you're too far back to even contest anything. So if they don't adjust that, that can very well impede our opportunity to get into the playoffs, because teams are looking at that and saying, man, this will be an easy game. I mean, they're going to give us everything all the way down to the red zone, and then they're going to give us even more, and they're going to give us the points, you know. And
Yeah.
if your offense sputters, because there are going to be games where Kirk Cousins is going to have his worst game ever, or Bijan Robinson is going to have his worst game ever, or even Darnell Mooney, whatever the case may be. You still have to have a defense that can hold it down to allow opportunities for your offense. You can't all think that this offense is going to just carry the team throughout the entire season and always be successful. I know 2016 was just that, but man, even even then, you expecting to duplicate that is actually putting a lot of pressure on offense. I'm gonna just say that you put a lot of pressure on Kirk Cousins, expecting him to go out and make plays, even though the plays aren't there. You know, instead of throwing the ball away, you're throwing in coverage, trying to make a play because you're not able to keep up with the team because they're scoring and you're not, or whatever. So I feel like the defense is gonna be key, because if the Bucks schedule as easy as I'm thinking, boy, they can go on a run. And if they go
Hey,
on a
Mike,
run, they can win
and I ain't mean to
easily.
cut you off, Jerry. Mike Evans back too.
Oh,
They
is he
said he
back?
might
Well, see, that's
he
even
back
better.
in the league. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
see,
their toughest game is the Chargers, and then everybody else. And I'm not saying it's any given Sunday. I know, but the Bucks are playing hard, even though they didn't have their guys. They're still playing hard. So if they come out and they go on a run and they win all their games, that's 11 wins. That means you got to get at least 5 wins to be able to still make the tiebreaker and win the division. But if you get 4 wins and they get all the wins and they win the division, there may be a chance you can still be a wild card team, but I wouldn't count on it. You want to control your own destiny. So this defense is gonna be key right now, because I think this is causing an issue with our team right now. We're bagging guys up playing passive, and I've never really understood the whole notion of playing passive unless you're just trying to bleed the clock and you're ahead and all that kind of stuff. In the midst of the game, you should always be playing aggressive, and
yeah,
I don't feel like we do that enough.
you hitting the nail
Hey,
on the head, Jerry.
can I
Everything.
tell anybody that's not speaking, put your mic on mute because there's always feedback. So if you're not speaking, yeah.
I appreciate that, Mike. Now, Jerry, man, I agree with everything you just said, man. Every point you hit, you said it best. Everything you hit was on point. And that's my biggest issue. It's like what you're saying. The defense really is not doing anything. Like last week, they did nothing. It's like when you put that type of pressure, like you said, the 2016 team, Matt Ryan had an MVP year. So that shows you like that. That's an anomaly. That's not going to happen every single week. And even we got all the way to the Super Bowl playing really, really good. But then when we couldn't get those turnovers in that Super Bowl, that's what came back to bite us in the tail. It's like when you playing that bend don't break style defense, we got to get turnovers. It's what you just said, Jerry. What happens when you don't? And I've been saying that over the last couple of weeks when we were getting wins. I'm like, yeah, we won, but you're gonna face some better quarterbacks. You're not gonna always get those key turnovers and key stops. And when you don't, then what? And that's what's been happening. And then what has come back to get us the last 2 weeks? It's like we haven't did what we did in those first couple of weeks where we're getting those stops and those turnovers. And then now Kirk Cousins is pressing. Now the offense is like,
Yeah,
oh,
and
we gotta score.
I'm sorry. Sorry, my phone did some weird stuff. I thought you had stopped. Go ahead.
Nah, man. Nah, you good, man. But did you have
No, I was
anything
just
else,
going to say, just
Jerry?
like Mike was saying. I was just saying, just like Mike was saying, man. I know we in the buy and everything, but man, we finna find out exactly what we have in coaching. When we go into this next game against the Chargers. Because though the Chargers are a good team, if you expect to be a legit team, build a winning culture, I don't care if you're the best team in the NFL right now. And if you're projected to go to the Super Bowl, this is where it starts. You got to come in, you got to punch these teams in the mouth and stand on top of the pyramid. It don't matter. It doesn't matter that everybody talking about is Jim Harbaugh. Even though I like him as a candidate for the Falcons, I don't care. At the end of the day, if we're going to be a dominant team, you set the tone in this game.
I completely agree. And the reason I agree with what that statement, Jerry, is these are the type of teams you're gonna face in the playoffs. So if you can't prove it now, then how are you gonna be able to prove it then? Like you're gonna have to start beating these teams that are the upper echelon teams. You can't just necessarily say, well, I'm gonna beat all the bottom feeder teams because we've seen that year in and year out with the Cowboys. They've been in that division beating up on the Giants, beating up on the Commanders when they weren't good. And then when they get to the playoffs and they gotta actually face a team that's competent all the way around, they haven't been able to play. They'll get 12 wins in the regular season, turn right around in the first round and get blown out at home. So that's what you
Exactly.
want to see.
Exactly, because they're not battle tested, and like I say, this team has an opportunity to take it and say, hey, look, we had some bad games here, but we're ready now. You're going to be rested, and you're coming off the bye. The coaches too. You're going to have an opportunity to go back. I remember, and I'm not trying to go back and talk about the silver line and everything, but I remember Dean Pease mentioning something about going back and reviewing a lot of his plays, like over 500 of his playbooks and everything to kind of look at some things because they were trying to change some things up. That's maybe one of these times you need to do it. You may need to go back through your stuff and just figure out what can you do to fix this because now's the time to do it because it's now or never. You could easily lose and not even be in the playoffs again. And we ain't been in the playoffs in a while, and this is a team built to win, so it'll be a lot of questions if we don't get to the playoffs. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, man, I completely agree. I really feel like what they really need to do, I don't think that the defense can completely change and not play no soft zone. What I really need this team to do is Jerry Gray, Raheem Morris, Jimmy Lake, all of those guys on that defensive coaching staff, they're gonna have to have one big meeting. They're gonna have to integrate all three of their schemes in one. So Jerry Gray gonna have to implement whatever he does. He needs to talk to Jimmy Lake and let him implement some of his man concepts because it's going to be impossible for them to change the whole defense and revamp in the middle of the season. But what they can do is add some of those different principles, the blitzing and things of that nature. You can install different things week in and week out. And that's what my problem with this team is. We're not seeing nothing. We're just seeing like a vanilla defense. And when it's so vanilla,
None at all.
you make
Nothing.
it too easy, right? You're making it easy. Like if any team watching us, they're gonna do exactly what Jerry just said. They're gonna come out, they're gonna say, we're gonna run quick outs, we're gonna run tunnel screens, and we're gonna run the ball. That's all Denver did the whole game. They did basically 3 plays and they just did different alignments, but they were running the same exact thing over and over and over again. That's why I already knew when it was coming up. Oh, we 8 yards off. Here come the tunnel screen. Here it come. Are we gonna do it? They scored on the same play twice. That tunnel screen they scored on was the
Twice.
same
Yeah.
exact play. So it's just like, and it was the same exact thing. We get mad at the corner. Like, where the defense at? Well, you got
They're not
Judon.
sending those corner blitzes anymore. You remember we were seeing them corner blitzes early in the season? We're not seeing
Yeah,
them anymore. We actually
yeah.
got a sack on there.
And it worked.
And the crazy part about we had success with those corner blitzes. We're not seeing them anymore because they're playing 15 yards off. And that's
And
fear. Like if you really believe in your players, you got to be aggressive.
you know my problem with that, Mike. My problem with exactly what you just said. You made a good point about the corner blitzes. You're not even watching the best teams in the league that are doing that. The Kansas City Chiefs, Steve Spagnuolo, what makes their team great, they blitz a lot. They blitz their corners a lot. They blitz their linebackers a lot. And that's why they have success. I'm like, if if they say it's a copycat league, why are you not copying the teams that are winning and what they're doing? Because the teams that are having success are doing exactly what we're talking about. They send a lot of corner blitzes. They bring a lot of pressure. If you think about the good teams in the league, the Eagles, they send a lot of pressure. The Kansas City Chiefs send a ton of pressure. The team that you think about, the Pittsburgh Steelers, we already faced them. They pressure the quarterback. They pressure a lot. So I'm like, the teams that are having success, those are the teams that pressure. So I feel like we need to start copying it. Like a lot of these teams now, I'm seeing them copying how we use Charlie Warner and they moving. He have him come off the line as like a fullback. I've been seeing a lot of teams copycat and using that now in they run schemes. But the
Yeah,
reason
I
why
have to. Yep.
is because
Yeah,
it
I
worked.
saw it too.
Yeah, it worked. So, hey, William, did you have anything else? Big Ant, what you guys got, man? I'll let William go and then you, Big Ant.
I just gotta say, man, for me, they got to show it. I just want Jesse Bates the third to talk to Raheem, but and just be like, hey, man, I understand you wanna do this, but we got to switch it up. We got to pay what work for us, and we got to go on the run, man. At least win 5 games. At least say 10-5 or 10-6 or something like that. For me, I got to see it.
What you got, Big Ant? You got anything else for the show, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said. If we can just implement, little things. It's the little things that can blow up to be a big problem. We're not blitzing. We're not doing any of that stuff. We're having the wrong people playing coverage, and it's we can't get to the quarterback with just our down linemen. That's been a problem all season. Get creative with it. I mean, like you said, we bring corner blitzes, bring Troy Anderson, because he's best when he plays in space. Bring him downhill, or late Nate Landman. Get creative. We're not seeing any of that. So this next game is going to tell the tale for the rest of the season. If we don't see any changes against the Chargers, this is what we're going to be for the rest of the season.
And I think that spelled trouble. If that's what we see the rest of the season, that we just like we're gonna play off, we're gonna be in trouble because the teams that we have coming down, they're really good and they do things on defense that's really good. So like the Vikings game after that Chargers game, we know that Brian Flores is one of the better defensive play callers.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be one of those games where if you don't run the ball, Kirk Cousins is gonna get sacked multiple times. We can go ahead and book that. So that's why we got to go ahead and make these changes. The Chargers, they got Bosa on one side, and they also got your boy from that was with the Raiders on the other side that I wanted us to try to go get. So
And they got Khalil
Khalil
Mack
Mack.
too on that team.
Yeah, Khalil Mack. I think it's Khalil Mack.
yeah, Khalil Mack. Yeah, Khalil Mack on the other end. So it's gonna be one of those games. If we thought this game with Denver was physical, that's what Jim Harbaugh preaches. He was at Michigan. He was at with the 49ers when we faced them in the NFC Championship game with those guys, Frank Gore and all of those boys. So we know that he believes in being physical in the trenches. He believes being physical just in general. So we're gonna have to be ready for war. When they come to Atlanta, those guys is gonna be ready to battle. And we got to be ready. We got to change our whole mentality and our attitude. If we come out there trying to be finesse, that's gonna cost us at the end of the day. But with that being said, man, Mike, you had anything else for the show, man? He might have stepped away. Man, Mike, you still with us?
Yeah, I am. I
You
am.
had anything else, man, for the show?
Hey, no, that I mean, like I said, man, it's the season is far from over, and like I said, no one is calling for Raheem to be fired because like when they decide to hire him to begin with, um, they hired him on the fact that they wanted to focus on the future. If they were only going, if he was going to come here and be fired within a year, they would have went with Bill Belichick. You know what I'm saying? If that's the way they was thinking. So they're clearly not thinking about 1 year here to quit it. So I do not think Raheem is going to be fired, but they're going to hold. Look, if y'all think that what we're saying about Raheem, y'all really don't know Arthur Blank. He does not. Like, you better have a plan because billionaires don't like to lose out on money. They don't like to lose out on hundreds of millions of dollars because that's money that's coming out of their pocket, not your pocket, not my pocket. They got to pay that $100 million right out of their account to those players, to those coaches. So he's not trying to lose out on hundreds of millions of dollars because that's what he's missing. $100 million. So Raheem has to find a way to look at his boss and say, all right, boss, this is what my plan is, and I'm going to get it right. If he can't do that, he's going to he going to have to answer. If he can, it's going to be good. So at the end of the day, I don't think he'll be fine. And that's my closing argument. And I'll kind of let y'all, I'll let y'all kind of go from there. But like I said, man, y'all joined you know what I'm saying, and have some conversations, man. Because like I said, we really like to hear y'all takes So just come on, speak your mind, man. And like I said, it's family show for the most part. This is how we do on the heavy hitters as well. So we're real versatile. And like I said, man, Falcons would be fine and Raheem will be fine, and that's all I got to say. And what's up, Bucks? How you doing, brother?
You.
Yeah,
What's
come on
up?
in here, man. What's going on?
What's man? As a Bucks fan, Ronnie Morris was not a good coach for us. That's why we fired him. Hello.
Yeah, I'm still with you. Can you hear me?
That's what. Yeah. That's what we fired Ronnie Morris because he was not a good coach for us.
Gotcha, man. You got
And
anything else for us?
man, I really think, man, Bucks got a easier schedule than the Falcons do, but I really still think the Falcons are still gonna win NFC South though.
Yeah, man, I think so. I mean, we got a good chance to win. I mean, when Raheem Morris was you guys' coach, he was super young. He was a
Yeah.
first time head coach, so I think he's still like we said, it's still out there in the open to find out if he's a good head coach. We don't know yet. He's
Hope
been a good coordinator, but I can't say that he's a good head coach necessarily. He has to
I hope
prove that himself. The jury's still out on that if he's a good
I
head.
think Toe Boy's gonna be fired this year. I really think Toe Boy's gonna be fired here in Tampa Bay at the end of the year.
That definitely could happen. But I think Todd Bowles has actually done a good job with you guys. Even though that I know he's on possibly on the hot seat. I think he's done a good job with what he has, especially with the injuries that you guys have over there in Tampa Bay. Y'all
Well,
still are competitive.
well, 2 point conversion. We should went for the Kansas City Chiefs. Bad call by Todd Bowles. 49ers game. Bad play calling. Todd Bowles defense. And Ravens game. He should have been fired for that. After for letting Chris Godwin play that game and Mike Evans, he should have been fired then.
I think y'all still got a chance, man. I don't know how true it is. Is Mike Evans coming back or
Yeah,
is he still
yeah, he's
hurt?
playing this week. Jamal Dean's playing this week. The cornerback Jamal Dean, he's playing. He's back. Evans back. Michael Edwards came back to safety we used to have from the Super Bowl team. He's back as well. We just signed him a couple days ago. He's also back. Only one we won't have this week is probably Tristan Wirfs, a left tackle.
Gotcha. But y'all might have a chance to make a run then. What is y'all record? 4-5?
4-6.
4-6.
We
Okay.
Bucks are 1-5 out of the last 6 games. Dead last against 32 passing defense, 32 run defense is probably the Bucks is a lot worse than the Falcons defense. Let me tell you that for sure. The Bucks defense is giving up 30 plus points a game. Um, Terrible. Lost 2 games against the Falcons. Terrible the last 6 games. Just pitiful. And
No.
that's why the balls might be gone.
Well,
But
hey, look, at the end of the day, as a Falcons fan, I hope that y'all don't serve at the end of the season. Even though y'all been playing well, I hope that y'all continue to be the 32nd. No disrespect. I hope that y'all
I
stay
know
bad the rest of the
that's
season.
good. We get fired and we get Belichick next year.
Yeah, I mean that's a possibility. It's a possibility, but I don't know, man. I actually like Todd Bowles for you guys, but I don't know where y'all sit because I don't, I dibble and dabble. I watch y'all games occasionally, but I don't know what y'all front office how they feel about Todd Bowles.
Um, we don't like him. A lot of Bucks fans want him fired now. We want him fired. He should have been fired last season, but he cost us another game for a chance for the national champion for the title game last year. The year before that, when before we went to the Super Bowl, the first year, I guess before we had Tom Brady. Before that, he cost us another chance to go back to the Super Bowl. There's a lot of games he cost us over the years. Too many, too many.
All right, man. Well, I want to get Wolf in
Uh,
here, man. I
Okay,
appreciate you
have a
joining
good
me,
day.
Bucks. All right,
You're
man.
welcome.
What's going on, Wolf?
Hey, Jewel, man, I just wanted to tap in, man. Great conversation, like always.
Yeah,
Um,
what's up, man?
yeah, they took my channel, so I'm working on getting a new one.
Oh
They
man.
got they got me banned, Jew. They got me banned. But let me say something. You like movies, Jew?
Yeah, you already know, man.
Okay. You ever seen Donnie Brasco?
Nah, I ain't seen that one. I ain't seen
Okay.
that one.
That's a Al Pacino flick.
Okay.
Since Raheem Morris loves the Italian mafia. right?
Okay.
Since he loves the Italian mafia. In that movie, Al Pacino's role, he got sent for twice. When you get sent for, he thought the first time he was gonna get killed. The
Okay.
second time he did get killed
All
in the
right.
movie, right? Where do you think Raheem Morris is?
This the second time, man.
Okay. But he's not gonna get fired. So to those out there that think he's gonna get fired, he's not gonna get fired. The
No.
problem is that listen, to everybody out there in the chat, everybody out there, the Atlanta Falcon Nation, the fans, the supporters, this and that and the third. You have to have a plan. So Terry Fontenot's plan was laid out probably May, June.
Facts.
It was probably laid out May, June. Terry Fontenot and Raheem Morris probably have 2 weeks vacation throughout the whole year. The GM and the coach are constantly working the whole year. Terry's plan was laid out in May. Guess what, Drew?
What's up?
On the defense side of the ball, it didn't work out the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, 3 weeks ago, Drew, everybody was raving about the Giants had the most sacks in the NFL. Were they not?
Yep. They still raving about it.
Okay, where are they now?
Mm.
Okay, that's all. What I'm saying is that the Giants, Joe Shane had a plan when? May.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Jones is the guy.
Right.
Guess what, Drew? It didn't work out.
They just benched them.
They they got Tommy DeVito,
Mm-hmm.
which Tommy DeVito, which is an Italian hero like Bruno Sammartino. Okay, starting for the New York Giants this week. The chicken cutlets are gonna sell out, Drew. Chicken cutlets are gonna sell out crazy, right? So what I'm saying is, listen, the plan doesn't work out sometimes. It does not work sometimes. So what do you have to do? You have to motivate these guys in a different way. You have to be able to get what you can because people, there are jobs on the line here. Some of these football players have their job on the line, including the players that we love on this team right now. So let's put on our big boy pants and big girl pants, and let's see what we do against the Chargers. Let's see what happens. And Jimmy Lake, by the way, Jimmy Lake, stop showing boxing clips because you don't know anything about boxing.
Say that
Stop it.
again.
Because he showed boxing clips to the defense. Listen, sir, if you're going to show a boxing fight to motivate these guys, there's not a better fight to show than Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward. You don't show a Diego Corrales fight. You don't show that. That's the wrong fight to watch. Okay? To all my boxing fans out there, you might not know what I'm talking about, but the Wolf knows what he's talking about. Trust me. Let's try to motivate these guys in a different way, and let's see what happens after the bye. Guess what? The plan didn't work. It didn't work on the defensive side of the ball. It didn't work.
So what you feeling right now, Wolf? What's your post on this team, man? Like if
My
personally.
post on his team is that it there's no look, Drew, we are where we are.
Are you
So
confident though? Like in
I'm as confident as you going to a church with a sex worker, Drew, trying to convert her, right? I mean, we are where we are, Drew. I mean, we are where we are. Guess what, Drew? At the beginning of the season, right? At the beginning of the season, did you really think the Chargers, Minnesota, and the Commanders were going to be a problem?
That's a good question.
Did you think that everybody in the chat? Did you think that the Commanders and the Minnesota Vikings with Sam Darnold, who, by the way, Drew, is probably going to get a $20 million contract at the end of the season? You know that, right? He probably is going to get another $20 million.
Mm-hmm.
Because the NFL has changed, Drew. The NFL has changed just like anything that we love in life changes, Drew. It changes dramatically, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way that you worship the Lord has changed. You can go to church online now,
Facts.
right? So, the way we take our spouses out, the way we raise our kids, basketball, baseball, football, everything has changed. The only thing I'm confident in, Drew, is that guess who is taking all this information in, Drew? Guess who's taking all this information, Drew? And you're a smart guy, Drew. I know you're gonna get the right answer.
You cut out, Wolf. Can
I
you still
said,
hear me?
guess who's taking all this information in?
Who's that?
Michael Penix.
There you go.
Michael Penix is taking all this information in, all the preparation, all the ups and downs, all the road games, the Kansas City game, the Philadelphia game, the Pittsburgh game, the Saints, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with the great finale at the end, going to Denver and getting blown out, going into the bye week 6-5, fighting for the division. Guess who's taking all this information in, Drew?
Mm-hmm.
Michael Penix. Michael Penix. And I am so confident in Michael Penix being the guy that whoever the top 3 quarterback is of the Falcon history, he will replace one of those guys.
Okay. Now you
That's how
talking.
confident I am.
Yeah, now you talking.
Now you see why sometimes it's okay to that the plan. Terry already is working on, guess what, Drew? He's already working on next season. He's already working on next season. If he gets the extension, which I support Terry, I think he should get the extension. Support him. I think he should. He's done a great job. I think it's a give or take. I think most people will say 70%, 30%, whatever. I believe in Terry. I like Terry. I think he has good swagger. I think he has good knowledge of the football team. I think he has good knowledge of positions and how to move some money around here to get here. I support him. I hope he does get a extension. But if not, then I hope that they get a guy who can take us to the next level as far as with the drafting and stuff like that. But I know for a fact, Drew, that it speaking to certain people that I do know, the GMs work almost 50 weeks a year. They work. They only get off 2 weeks out the year.
Gotcha.
So, I'm as confident as that, Drew. But listen, I thank you for letting me up, Drew. Listen, the Wolf Solidified channel will be back. I won't have no videos up, but I'll be back grinding and shooting more videos and shooting more content. And we're gonna go in a positive direction now. I can't be doing the content I was, Drew. I got spanked for that. You know what I mean? But you know, but
Man.
but, but we going in a positive direction. Hey, listen, man. God bless you and the family. I know you just recently had a baby. God bless.
Yeah, she's not here yet. She be here in January. Well,
Okay,
January or
okay,
December, one of the two.
okay. Well, hopefully I can speak to you before the holidays hit.
Most
Congratulations. God bless you and your wife. God bless everybody that's in the chat. Salute to everybody that's in the chat, everybody that was up on the panel. Drew, thank you so much for always giving us good information, good content. You're one of the guys that I do watch. No BS. You're one of the guys that I do watch and learn a lot from, especially for people that don't know football. Football 101. Listen to Drew talk sports. He's going to teach you football 101.
Most definitely, man. But I appreciate you always joining the chat, man. God bless as always to you and the fam. Like I said, you're always welcome on the channel, man.
Oh, man. Yes, that's it, man. I appreciate you, Drew. Thank you, man. Later, man.
All right, man. I'll holler at you. And with that being said, man, y'all hit that like button for your boy. Hit that subscribe button. Like we said, this is a bye week. So no, this Sunday, we can just sit back, relax, watch all of the other teams play their games. But it sounds like it's going to be a tight race down to the end. As much as we thought that this Falcons team was going to run away with the division, now that we've dropped these 2 games, we've allowed teams like the Bucks to get back into the race. We've allowed teams like the Saints to get back in the race. So at the end of the day, we got to finish strong at the end of the day. Like I said, I'm at a 7. Right now, with my post, I'm at a 7. It's from 0 to 10. My confidence level is a 7 for this team to still win the division and make the playoffs. They've won the division games, which they stated were the most important games. Raheem Morris stressed that we win those division games, and they have done that. But now it's going to come down to the proper adjustments being made down the stretch. It's going to come down to these players, as Wolf was just stating. These players are going to have to step up. Guys are going to have to step up. They want to get into the playoffs and make a run. Like, this is the time of year when you want to be starting to hit your stride. When you get near Thanksgiving, Christmas, December, the last, month of the season, that's when you want to be playing your best football heading into the playoffs. You don't want to be backing into the playoffs. You want to be hitting your stride, playing, being in sync, in rhythm. But I do think that this bye came at the right time for this team to allow guys to get healthy, because we played 11 straight weeks of football. These guys are banged up. We had a lot of injuries over the last 2 weeks. So hopefully these guys can get healthy, get that treatment this week, get that full 2 weeks before we have to face the San Diego Chargers, or excuse me, the LA Chargers now at home. So this is going to be a very interesting game, but this is going to be a huge game at home. So if you're a fan that have tickets to the game coming up next Sunday, not this Sunday, but the next Sunday against the Chargers, we need to be in there. Our fans need to be there early. We need to motivate these guys. We need to be loud. We need to cause a turnover, cause a penalty, a false start, because the fans are so loud in the stadium. But these players, they need y'all, man. If y'all have tickets, if you're a season ticket holder, don't sell these tickets to the Chargers fans. Make sure you go to the game. Make sure you guys support this team, man. But with that being said, I appreciate each and every one of you guys that joined me for another edition of What's the Word. Of course, we'll be back next Tuesday prepping for the LA Chargers, and I'll give you guys my breakdown, give you my keys to victory and things of that nature. But stay tuned to the channel. If you're not subscribed to my channel, hit that subscribe button for your boy. Like I said, I enjoy when you guys join me and give me your thoughts, on what's your opinions and things of that nature on this Atlanta Falcons team. But with that being said, I'll highlight you guys in the next live show. But as always, Falcons Nation, rise up, be blessed. Peace.